gentlemen, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning Fan Show. Tonight's episode, a special one for you. It's not just big, it's huge. That's right. I have the masterminds behind Battlebots' biggest butt kicker, huge. And I got to tell you, it was pre-recorded. Both of them are tonight, but that doesn't make them any less special because the conversation still had to be had, right? We had to discuss some things, talked about Season 3, huge, same old, but each segment that we do here every week on the Fan Show for Season 3 of Battlebots is special and unique in its own. These guys are great. Jonathan Schultz, Peter Lombardo, those guys. There are a couple of characters, which I find to be a more common thing with Battlebots, which I'm really happy about, because you need characters in this type of thing. I feel like there's some gimmicks, right? You have Witch Doctor with their costumes and the fact that they try to incorporate so much onto the bot itself. And then you have what was I going to say? And then you have, Tombstone, who's kind of a heel. That's a character, like less gimmick, more character. Ray Billings, still the nicest guys I had the privilege of talking to, but once it's robot fight time, he is everyone's favorite guy to hate out there. So huge, they kind of have the best of both worlds. They have like a gimmicky bot, right, that people love, and then they're real characters themselves, and that's what you need in this. And I hope that is a trending thing in a more common occurrence with this. I think it would be fantastic if Battlebots, which is pretty much a combination of WWE and NASCAR, right, where you have these entrances, the one-on-one fights, but then you have the pit and you have the in-between, like a NASCAR race. And to have characters added in there would just be the icing on the cake. So we'll talk to Huge, and that was a lot of fun. And then also we have Andre McDonald is going to be on the show. He's going to talk some Green Bay Blizzard football. They're high spirits right now. They got their second win of the season, so they've doubled their total wins for 2018. And it sounds terrible to say, but honestly, like if they win out, they'd be 6-8. And for 6 of those wins to come from their last 7 games, and for all of them to come from the second half of the season, I think would speak volumes for just the amount of no quit that these guys have in them up there in Green Bay. And Andre McDonald and BJ Hamaro, they all talk about that. So great stuff. Got a great episode for you this evening. But man, oh man, first and foremost, we got to get through that line, right? And there's some headlines. So here we go. And headlines, of course, are brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. Hit up Ethan at DynamiteEnterprises.com because he's going to help you customize your world. That's what they do there at Dynamite Enterprises. They are awesome for it. They're one-stop shop. Anything you need customize. Custom apparel, screen printing, embroidery, stick, banners, trophies, and pens, posters, foam fingers. Anything you want. If you can dream it, you can do it. You can slap your logo or artwork on it with Dynamite Enterprises. It's their busy season, so you need to get your order in now with Ethan because he had 150 trophies. I just stopped by tonight to pick up some more Fan Show shirts. Had 150 Pool League trophies ready to go from the local pool league here in Spokane. And then he's got like stuff for high school graduations, spring sports awards, and just really everything, getting ready for summer. There's a big push for merchandise, right? Because a lot of companies will have special events, fairs, concerts, whatever, and they'll need to be mobile and have their stuff readily available. And he is just kicking out the customized apparel and knickknacks and whatever else, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. But it's a busy season, so if you have to wait a little bit, don't worry, because it is well worth the wait. So Ethan with DynamiteEnterprises.com. Tell the Fan Show section and see if we can't work something out for you. But customize your world today, Dynamite Enterprises. Now, before we get to the big headline of the day, I feel like it's important to say that the series is now between the Lightning and Capitals at 3-3. So next game is a winner-take-all to meet the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Finals. 2018, what a year it's been for the world of sports. From the, I don't know if you'd call it a Cinderella story, but just from the overcoming the adversity that the Eagles faced to upset the Patriots of all teams in football. And then, of course, you have the Golden Knights with their inaugural season going all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals in hockey. And then in the Indoor Football League, Iowa Barnstormers doing amazing things. They're the top of the heap right now, at least in certain circles. Spoiler alert. Or is that a tease? I don't know. We shall see. But the fact that they beat the Sioux Falls Storm for the first time in franchise history, their 10-year franchise history since they've been in the same league together. So there's been a lot of things that have happened this year that I feel some of them have gone unnoticed, but others have not, and it's been really special to be able to talk about it and discuss it with you guys. So that's your hockey news. It is Power Rankings Day, which we will get to in a moment. But man, first we got to address this thing with the NFL. For those of you that haven't heard, and if you don't have Twitter, Facebook, or really any social media, then you probably haven't. But if you do, if you live in 2018 and you have a smartphone or access to a mobile device, then you've heard about the NFL's recent 31-0 vote. That number is significant. We'll talk about that in a second. About this new quote-unquote policy with the national anthem, the flag, and players' conduct from it. So here's the official statement from Commissioner Roger Goodell. The policy adopted today was approved in concert with the NFL's ongoing commitment to local communities and our country, one that is extraordinary in its scope, resources, and alignment with our players. We are dedicated to continuing our collaboration with players to advance the goals of justice and fairness in all corners of our society. The effort by many of our players sparked awareness and action around issues of social justice that must be addressed. The platform that we have created together is certainly unique in professional sports and quite likely in American business. We are honored to work with our players to drive progress. It was unfortunate that on-field protests created a false perception among many that thousands of NFL players were unpatriotic. This is not and was never the case. This season, the league and the team personnel shall stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. Personnel who choose not to stand for the anthem may stay in the locker room until after the anthem has performed. We believe today's decision will keep our focus on the game and the extraordinary athletes who play it and our fans who enjoy it. And then here's the policy statement after that. The 32 member clubs of the National Football League have reaffirmed their strong commitment to work alongside our players to strengthen our communities and advance social justice. The unique platform that we have created is unprecedented in its scope, and we will provide extraordinary resources in support of programs to promote positive social change in our communities. The membership also strongly believes that, number one, all team and league personnel on the field shall stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. Number two, the game operations manual will be revised to remove the requirement that all players be on the field for the anthem. Number three, personnel who choose not to stand for the anthem may stay in the locker room or in a similar location off the field until after the anthem has been performed. Number four, a club will be fined by the league if its personnel are on the field and do not stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. Number five, each club may develop its own work rules consistent with the above principles regarding its personnel who do not stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. And number six, the commissioner will impose appropriate discipline on league personnel who do not stand and show respect for the anthem. So the number 31 is a significant number because there's 32 teams in the NFL, therefore 32 CEOs and owners. And so a 31-0 vote means that someone didn't vote. That is Jed York, who I'm normally not a big fan of, still not. But the fact is that he chose to abstain from voting, and in doing so was quoted saying that, we're also going to close down our concessions during the national anthem. It's pointless for us to, why should we profit from something that we have such a big focus on right now? So he's one that did not vote. Someone who did vote, though, was the Jets owner, who voted yes, obviously, and then went on to say that he would cover the players' fines afterwards for anyone that chose to violate pretty much the new policy of the NFL. So here's my thing about this, is that the NFL, like the WWE, has backed itself into a corner, and they did it a long time ago. This isn't anything new. And instead of fixing the holes in the boat, they continue to just bail the water out, which is counterproductive at its finest, right? I mean, to say the very least, it's counterproductive. WWE decided to launch this Be a Star campaign and partner up with a company to do this anti-bullying thing, but yet everything about WWE, the characters, the storylines, is like a bully and a hero, right? And so you're sending a mixed message to the youth of tomorrow by saying don't be a bully, but yet your top superstar in the main event has spent the last month bullying another wrestler on your roster. So it's something that they shouldn't have done that. I understand why they did, and they're trying to send a positive message, but your actions will always be louder than your words. So by having a product where there needs to be heroes and villains, and if you can't write the villains in a way where they're not bullying the heroes, then this campaign is really just pointless. It's the bucket that is bailing the water out of the boat that has so many holes in it. So with the NFL, same thing. First, it was the No More campaign, and then you had all of these players that had domestic violence issues come up. Greg Hardy getting a second chance with the Dallas Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott, again, a Cowboy. Not that that's a trend, but it went through the appeal and legal process, finally served his suspension. But it's just, you say no more, and you want to deliver this message like there should be a zero tolerance for it, but yet you yourself as a company do not display that same zero tolerance for the people that make up your product out there that the fans are buying into. So again, it's insanity. It really is. When you have a campaign that's no more against domestic abuse, violence, whatever, but yet these players will draw out and abuse the legal system for so long that it's as if they played an entire season before any sort of stuff starts to happen in the courtroom or any sort of disciplinary action, anything like that, when the issue happened in the offseason. Like, you have got to be kidding me with this. So now the NFL, who has a Salute to Service month, will red, white, and blue and camouflage the crap out of everything that they have in the month of November. They have the flyovers, the giant flags, the performance of the national anthem, the discounted tickets to service men and women, and the features throughout the season that they do. And then you have players who it may or may not be what it looks like, and in my mind, it's not. Okay, it's not a showing of disrespect, but to a lot of people, probably half your fan base, it is a showing of disrespect and being unpatriotic to basically it's your product, again, out there that is contradicting what it is that you practice a majority of your season. So rather than them owning up to the mistakes that they've made, the WWE and the NFL, they continue to put Goodell out there and just say, so this is what we're doing, and this is how it is, and it's all great, and things are fantastic. Problem is, it says you're working side by side with the players in a unique and unprecedented way, and it's going to be awesome, but yet the players weren't a part of that vote. In fact, the NFL Players Association followed up with that statement with a statement of their own, and my goodness, I got to find this because this thing is absolute gold. I tell you right now, it is fantastic. Let's see. Where is it? Where is the Players Association one? Come on. Okay. So the NFLPA said the following: the NFL chose to not consult the union in the development of this new policy. NFL players have shown their patriotism through their social activism, their community service, in support of our military and law enforcement, and yes, through their protests to raise awareness about the issues they care about. The vote of the NFL club CEOs today contradicts the statement made to our player leadership by Commissioner Roger Goodell and the chairman of the NFL's Management Council, John Mara, about the principles, values, and patriotism of our league. Our union will review the new policy and challenge any aspect of it that is inconsistent with the collective bargaining agreement. So, shots fired, all right? You have a vote, you have a statement that says you're working with the players, but yet the vote did not include the players, it included a bunch of old white owners. And you have the result of that, okay? Now you're feeling backlash of that, and there are going to be a lot of hurt feelings. There's going to be a lot of backlash from this. And we'll see. Will Goodell, I mean, this is the league in his image, because no, they went and extended dumbass for another 4 years. And you're going to reap what you sow, plain and simple. So the NFL is going to take a big black eye from this, especially when it mentions 3 times in the new policy those that choose to not honor or respect the anthem and the flag, that choose to not honor or respect. So you're basically laying it out there. You're flopping your stuff on the table saying, if you do this, in our eyes, this is what it means for you to do this. When Eric Reed and others have gone on public platforms, big ones, to say this is in no way a showing of disrespect to the flag, to the anthem. It's a protest to raise awareness for an issue that we feel passionately about. Now, do I agree with their display? No, I don't, and I've said that before. But we're too far. We're over that hill. Okay, we're looking towards the next horizon now. So for the NFL to come out and be like, hey, we're just going to lay it out there. If you want to kneel, then this statement says that you're kneeling as showing of this, that you disrespect and do not honor the flag or the anthem. Like, you are pouring gasoline on the biggest fires of the 21st century when it comes to sports, media, and just the world in general, this country in general. And I think that you are so dumb for doing that, NFL. Like, I cannot, I'm so beyond words. But there you have it. There's my little rant and ramble on the things of today. It is Power Rankings Day, so we'll get through those real quickly here before I do the first interview, which is with Andre McDonald. So I'm sorry, got a little heated up there, but as you could understand, I'm a little upset with just how everything has unfolded today with the NFL. So let's go ahead and do our Power Rankings, which there is a new number one for both leagues, and that's the IFL and the NAL. So first up, let's do the Indoor Football League, and they are as follows. Number 6, Cedar Rapids Titans at 1-10. No change there. No change for like the last 8 weeks. Number 5, though, the Nebraska Danger, down 1 from last week. They might have 2-game lead over the Blizzard, but they have lost to the Blizzard 2 of the last 3 games, which makes the Blizzard number 4 at 2-8. Number 3, the Sioux Falls Storm, no movement there. Number 2, the Arizona Rattlers, and of course, with that means your new number 1, the Iowa Barnstormers, and new. So that does it for your weekly Fan Show official Indoor Football League Power Rankings. Iowa Barnstormers 8-2, Arizona Rattlers 9-2, Sioux Falls Storm 8-3, Green Bay Blizzard 2-8. Nebraska Danger 4-7, Cedar Rapids Titans 1-10. There's your 1 through 6 for the National Arena League. Number 6, the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks, no change there for 6 weeks in a row. Number 5, the Maine Mammoths. Number 4, the Jacksonville Sharks. Number 3, the Massachusetts Pirates. Number 2, the Carolina Cobras, and your number 1 and new for this week, the Columbus Lions. And I just realized I made a little boo-boo with these. I didn't put the record for the Mammoth or the Steelhawks. Oh, well, my bad. I doubt people will notice. But yes, Columbus Lions 4-1. Their only loss was to the Pirates. And for the Cobras, they have lost to the Sharks and the Lions. And for the Pirates, their only 2 losses are to the Cobras. So they've all beaten each other, right? The Lions beat the Cobras, who have beaten the Pirates, who have beaten the Lions. So this is this part of the series when it comes to the NFL, and very exciting stuff. So with that, then that does it for headlines. We're going to jump into our first interview. Andre McDonald is up. Enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now, making his debut on the Fan Show, fresh from Titletown off of their second win of the season, it is Andre McDonald of the Green Bay Blizzard. Welcome, Andre. How you doing, man?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I'm sure that you guys are doing a lot better, though. You guys have doubled your win total since just a couple of weeks ago. You're 2 for 3 now. How are you guys feeling up there in Green Bay?
No, we're feeling good. It's obviously good to win. Everybody loves to win, but it's real nice putting things together. Guys are working well together, so it's a positive outlook for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I was talking to you, quarterback Brian Hicks, last week. Looks like you guys have obviously a good rapport built up going into probably the most important part of the season for you guys. And he said, we're not out yet. Mathematically, statistically, you guys still get that 4th playoff spot. And I got to tell you, apparently Nebraska took the loss a lot harder than anybody expected. They made a coaching change, and you guys are just 2 wins behind that 4th playoff spot. So Has the mindset or the mood or any sort of locker room mentality changed at all between your guys' win over the weekend and this afternoon once everything, like the dust has now settled?
For us, I'll say, as soon as we figured out, because we knew ahead of time that if we can go into this and we're still, we just got to keep winning. We have to be going. So for us, it's been more of something that we wouldn't say focus on, but we just move every day like that, and take a step by step and put it together so we can execute and make sure that we get each turn individual. Just that's what hard. That's our mindset.
So moving forward now, in this position, I mean, obviously, nobody likes to rely on another team to lose in order to secure your own fate. It's just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, to not control your own destiny. But clearly, moving forward, you guys do. I'm not sure what happened with Nebraska with the coaching change. I'm going to talk to Marshall Hart, who's a friend of mine from Spokane, who's on that coaching staff, see just how the dominoes have fallen and what they're looking to do. It was, to me, an odd time for a coaching change, especially when unless you just keep losing, which, they were on a losing streak. You still had that fourth playoff spot. But you guys, I don't know if there's blood in the water for you guys now or if anything changes moving forward. But what was Coach Robertson's message to you guys in the locker room in your meeting and after the game?
It was just, he was obviously very excited, man, for him to be a new coach, which is wonderful for us to help him win too, But also, it's just kind of how I was saying, the day-by-day mentality. Like, we don't want to get people ahead of ourselves. We also don't want to fight of the end goal. So it's kind of, he preaches coming out and being professionals every day. We got to work every day, You got to win every day in order to reach your goals.
Now, I know a lot of you guys, it's kind of championship or bust mentality. Everything else is sort of, you want to get film on yourself. You want to make sure that you're playing competitive ball, that you're doing the best to help your team win. And that's perfectly understandable at this level and in a league like this. But, if you guys were to go and maybe not win out, but win enough where you guys get that fourth playoff spot. Brian Hicks said that if he had to sum up the Green Bay Blizzard 2018 season in one word, it would be adversity. What would it mean to you guys to make the postseason, given all that's happened to you and this team during 2018?
I think it would mean, pretty much everything to us. Especially just Green Bay itself. That we got such loyal fans here, and they always come out. Even when we're losing, we got fans in the stands watching us, and they always come and participate in all our events and everything. So, it's pretty big for everyone. Not even including the community. It'll be huge.
Yeah, I think you guys are definitely on the right track. Still plenty of football to be left to be played. You guys do have a tough schedule coming up, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in the IFL, and how long have you been playing ball as a whole?
Well, I actually am originally from Minnesota, and I did play for the Gophers back home in Minnesota. And I've been playing football pretty much my entire life. I was a big-time sports kid. I played baseball, football, basketball, mainly, and I played it. But I've been in the IFL this is my second year of Green Bay. Last year was my first year in the IFL period, so it's going pretty well. I like it. It's great motivation to try to make it to the next level. So that's big for me too. I want to make it. It's been my goal since I was a kid. So.
Well, you're definitely in a good spot. I don't know if Brian Hicks is inviting you to lunch with Mason Crosby, but there's definitely some connections to be made there where you guys are at up in Green Bay.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What was it like for you? This is something I got to know. As a Minnesota native, to be in Green Bay, like, is it just borderline sacrilege? Like, what is what is that like?
This is a lot of people ask me that, and I always get this, especially being a Gopher, because the Badger Gopher thing. But
oh yeah,
I'm actually a big Steelers fan, so I'm not. I like the Vikings, but I'm a big time Steelers fan. So I think that leaves more of a sour taste in my mouth than anything. The last Super Bowl they got won here, if anything. But the Minnesota thing isn't really that big. It's kind of the same, where I grew up. It's kind of a lot like Green Bay, so I haven't really noticed much of anything. I kind of like it, actually.
You can't win no matter where you go. You like the Steelers, you're in Green Bay, you're from Minnesota.
Yeah, it is. I hear it all the time. It's just, that's why I go with it, because there's not much. I love football, so I live right down the street from Lambeau Field, so I get to watch some great football and play some great football too. Can't complain about that.
No, you really can't. It's a great setup. One thing I wanted to know, is, and I ask this the guys all the time, because I want as much honesty as I can get. But for you, we're going to talk about your teammates. What's it like playing with a guy like B.J. Hill?
Oh man, it's what can I say? It's everything about him is just like really, it rubs off. He's really, his attitude is contagious. That's one thing that I noticed about being around him. It just brought out a lot more of the competition in me. He's definitely him. That guy competes and competes and competes. It means nothing. It means nothing. I don't think he's gotten any older physically.
No, I don't think he has.
It's just amazing to be around him. He's a really good person, and that goes for a lot of people on our team, even down to the coaches too. It's just we got a good atmosphere. I think that's why things are pulling together, because we just got a great group of guys that want to compete and want to win. So definitely being around BJ has given a lot of motivation, and you get to learn a lot. Like, I'm big on that. When I went to college, I was big on hanging around veteran guys just because you learn a lot. And I want it to rub off on me. I want to know everything that I can possibly know about the game.
Yeah.
Or even how to get to the next level. There's guys that have been there. He's one of the guys that have been there. So, it's anything that he has to offer, I think, is very beneficial.
Yeah, man, soak it up like a sponge. It's what those guys are there for.
Sir.
Playing along a Hall of Famer is something that's like almost never happens, just because in other leagues there's like I guess rules about Hall of Fame and whatnot. But the IFL, it's like as soon as you say you're done, you can be in there, and then if you want to come back, it's like okay, you can come back. So maybe that's something that you can do later on. But I was talking with him, and of course I said you've been so great at kick returns. And I was like, but then they get to the point where they don't want to kick to you anymore. Like, what does that do to you? And he's just like, well, if you're going to be good at what you do, they're going to try to prevent you from doing that. And so he's like, it's a compliment, but at the same time, I want the chance to return the ball. As a receiver, when you do so well that they're covering you to the point where a quarterback like Hicks can't throw to you, like what's your next down the line as far as your checklist goes, as far as how you can help your team, and what does that do to you mentally for the rest of the game?
Well, really being in the position that I've been in, and coming out of high school, I was a pretty highly recruited player. Mm-hmm. So most of the time I played, I was sought after. But I actually just had this conversation with Chris Millard and Jeremy Jones, because we all complement each other so well.
Yeah.
And our attitudes go together so well, just because we're willing to sacrifice ourselves for the greater good, which is amazing. Our team just has that whole attitude. So for me, like, I play in the Big Ten, I love to block. BJ runs the ball very well. I love to be out there and block. I love to box my teammates. I'll run decoy routes, anything that I can do. That's my mindset once that comes. Anything I can do so our offense is successful, I'm willing to do that anytime.
Now, I've talked to guys like Hill, Hicks, Malott, all of you guys throughout the season, and it's been quite the ride to watch what is the 2018 Green Bay Blizzard. So for you, this your second year in the league, second year with the team. What is the mood changed like since you guys have gotten these couple of wins? Because I know that for Brian, it was weird for him to come into a new team. He's technically your guys' third quarterback. Corey Robertson takes over at a moment's notice. I mean, for you to be kind of one of the more consistent players and familiar faces there, what was it like for you to sort of be in the position you are, watching everything unfold that has?
It was, at first, it was a little trying because a lot of things were just unknown. We had to, we kind of had to regroup and get everything back together. But ever since then, I can't, being a guy that's been here, I don't think from the guys that are new to the guys that have been here, you couldn't tell the difference, because everybody's mindset is just, it's the same, really. We all are now, you'd say, teams say that one mindset, one goal, one heartbeat kind of thing. We really have that as a team. And so, for me, it's just, we have confidence in just flowing around everyone. So I couldn't tell the difference between anything, between guys who have been there, guys who have been through losing, or guys that are winning. It's just all the same mindset. We don't think about the past. We don't stretch too far back, or else, we don't dwell, or else it's not going to help anything.
So Nebraska hit kind of a rough patch, and obviously they have made the changes they believe they need to make in the position they need to make it in to move forward the rest of the season. But for those that are looking, that are maybe a fan of Iowa, Arizona, Sioux Falls, that are wondering, has Nebraska gone that downhill, or is Green Bay really on the rise? Like, how would you convince them that this is the next step for the Green Bay Blizzard and that you guys are only getting better?
For me, I can only tell them is this, all you can do is really, I'm a guy, I don't do much talking. I'm I show things through my actions. I play hard. That's where I'm not a trash talker on the field. So I would just leave it for people to see, as you can see the difference. You can see the attitude. You can really see it. Right? If you're around us, you can feel it. So, those that would say that it's luck or teams are getting worse, maybe they're just not around to feel it or witness it. It's kind of one of those things that just amazing. You ever been around something that just you can feel the energy from it,
Yeah, no, I get it, and I think you convinced me just in that little, spiel right there, and you didn't even have to do any trash talking. I encourage trash talking, I really do. I try to get, especially coaches, to say, and it doesn't even have to be, vengeful or anything. It can be playful, but I try to get some kind of real emotion in trash talk.
My dad was real strict about that one when I was in high school. I just never was that guy.
I see. There
I couldn't
we go.
do it. I was peeking from my dad. You see, if I'm out there running my mouth or doing anything, talking to the ref, I got to peek around for pops. You don't know where he's going to come from or what he's going to say. He does not like that. He's a big sportsmanship guy. He's not into it at all. There's no room for it in his book.
So, looking at the rest of the schedule, you guys got 4 games left this season, and you guys will go on the road to play probably the hottest team in the IFL right now, which is the Iowa Barnstormers. So that's going to be a tough environment, tough road game for you. At the same time, Nebraska plays Arizona, who's definitely going to want to be getting back into the win column after the way that game unfolded last week. Yeah. So you guys, maybe you can strike while the iron is hot and catch them off guard, and then you guys will host the Sioux Falls Storm. And they've been kind of there's been opportunities for other teams, and then they kind of do the whole Sioux Falls thing where they capitalize on whatever. So that'll be a good, tough home matchup for you. You've got Cedar Rapids Titans, and then once again the Sioux Falls Storm, I believe. So your guys' destiny very much in your own hands. Nebraska's schedule isn't any easier. Who knows what happens after a coaching change, but I really do wish you guys the best of luck the remainder of the season, because I think that you guys have overcome a hell of a lot, to be entirely honest. And
we appreciate that.
For you to speak the way that you do about the team, I think there's a lot of heart there. What's your plans for life after football, Andre?
I'm real into. There's a lot of things. I haven't really planned it out, let's say, so to speak, but I'm real into music. I got a lot of things that I love to do. I haven't made a decision yet, I guess. I'm trying to see how football pans out for me, because I hit some major bumps in the road on the way here. I had heart surgery 2 years ago, so, this is really important for me right now. But afterwards, I can say I see a lot of coaching and a lot of music in my future.
You think
at least the business aspect of it.
You think Green Bay would be a good home to you for that next step, or is that going to be something where you're just like, it's Pittsburgh or bust? I've had enough of these rivalry team places.
Green Bay is really already feeling like home to me. It's not too far away. I got my family moving across the country now. My dad got a job in Atlanta, but I love it here. I really do. And it gives me a second chance at my dreams, So it's kind of hard to not love it.
All right, well, Andre, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to give us a few minutes here on the show and take a look at the rest of your guys' season. Like I said, it's hard not to root for the Green Bay Blizzard, especially everything that's been going on this season. But you've won 2 of your last 3. You win 2 more. That's a winning streak, and that would put you guys, if Nebraska lost their next 2, tied, holding the tiebreaker over them for that 4th playoff spot. So who knows? There's just enough football left to be played in the IFL. I can't say there's plenty left, because there's not, but there's just enough for you guys to sneak in there and get that fourth spot. So I'm with you. I'm with you guys on this, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. You take care of yourself. Tell the guys I said hello, and you have a good rest of your night.
You too. You too. Thank you.
All right. Once again, that was Andre McDonald of the Green Bay Blizzard. Guys are in high spirits, and that's always good to hear. I appreciate him being on. And speaking of appreciation, I appreciate entrepreneurs, and so does Praxis Co-working. In fact, are you interested in co-working? Because Praxis is Spokane's newest co-working space, and in this space, they value diversity, inclusion, and a sense of community. They celebrate entrepreneurs. I should know, recipient of the 2018 Entrepreneurship Award for Best Media, a little soiree and event put on by Praxis, because that's how much they believe in what they're doing. They want to collaborate. They want to get together. They want to help each other out. They want to help you live the best work life that you can. Praxis, located on the 4th floor of the Holly Mason building. The lease is for a space that is 3,500 square feet and equipped with a small kitchenette, conference room, small office, and a large open area. Great parking options, a coffee shop in the bottom floor, and of course this space is only a 9-minute walk from River Park Square. Wow, I almost said 27.5. $275 a month is what they're offering for month-to-month memberships or discounted memberships. For longer-term commitments, I believe 3 months is what they're running right now. So if you're interested, if you want to do it, you got to hit up Robbie. Great individual, 509-220-0817. Or ROBBI at praxiscoworking.com. $275 gets you a key, Wi-Fi, use of the private rooms, a desk, access to all business and recreational amenities, and there is no hidden fees, no conference room fees, and no limited amount of minutes that you can spend in certain areas. So Praxis, hit them up today because they've got space available, but time is running out. Be yourself at work with Praxis, and that'll bring us to the last interview of the night. It's not just big, it's huge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and joining me now, our guest, so big, I guess you'd have to say they're huge. It is team members of Huge, Jonathan Schultz and Peter Lombardo. Welcome, gentlemen. How you doing?
Doing good. Thank you very much.
Excellent. So, I had the Woolley twins on last week, so we'll do this kind of similar because we're not in the room together and I can't have you guys raise your hands. So, I mean, you can, I just won't see it. We'll do this one at a time. But first and foremost, congratulations so far in the Battlebots season. It was only one fight, one episode, but I think you guys made a huge impact, if I might be so bold as to say, and pun intended. But you guys are ones that, when I saw the design and the bot down there during the tapings, I know I ran into you guys once or twice trying to coordinate a time to interview you, but I wanted to get you on the show for sure because you seem kind of like, I want to say, some fan favorites, and I don't know if it's your bot design, if it's your team, or just the way that you guys have approached Battlebots this season. But Jonathan, we'll start with you. Do you feel like you're fan favorites, and how have you felt after your first, fight on the new fight card style with Battlebots Season 3?
I mean, I think we were fan favorites just because it was such like a surprise to everybody. Of they see this big floppy robot and it actually goes out and works like it's supposed to. I was happy with the fight card also just because if it didn't go well, we knew we'd at least have a second chance at it. So I liked the format.
Yeah, you guys are going to get a whole season, and then, of course, from that season, you will be put into a seeding for a tournament, bracket style, and then that will lead to the championship and crowning what could be a new champion. Tombstone, of course, got a big win over Minotaur. Peter, when it came to Huge in this design, I mean, who's the brains behind it, and what was ultimately the hey, why don't we take this approach to it?
So, as far as I'm concerned, the genesis of Huge was, so Jonathan and I were roommates senior year of college, and he goes over to my room and he's like, Peter, I've got this great idea.
Which are usually never great ideas, right?
It's the
great idea took like 9 months.
So yeah, he came up with the whole thing. He inspiration of the big wheels was Gabriel on Robot Wars, and he's thinking, let me just put a weapon in the middle. So that was how that came about.
That was, I think, about 2 years ago now. And we built a 30-pound huge, and then we built a 3-pound tiny huge. And then Battlebots came calling, and I said, okay, I guess I'm going to go buy 4-foot sheets of plastic to make a big one.
So, all in all, I mean, it's a big bot, right? But how much does it actually weigh once it's all said and done?
When we got to the competition, it weighed a whopping 256 pounds.
Wow.
Out of the 250-pound limit, so we overspent ourselves a bit. But through some creative use of yet more plastic and just less material, we got it under the 250 limit.
Jonathan, what accounts for so much of its weight? Because the tires, Evan and Bryce from Double Jeopardy said that they look flimsy, but they're not. As far as the wheels go, they're rather flexible. So what's weighing this bot down that put it over the limit?
It's mostly the size. The heaviest piece on it, like, Tombstone and Minotaur have like 70-some-odd pound weapons and stuff.
Yeah. Our
bar is about 30 pounds. Each half the chassis is about 30 pounds. Each wheel's 17 or 18. It's just, it adds up, It's all a couple pounds. And there's so many, it's so big that it just adds up to the over the weight limit. Trust me, I wish I could put more weight into the wheels and the weapons and stuff.
Have you guys, I guess this question for both of you, we'll start with Peter on this one. When it comes to the design, looking back at everything, and of course, no spoilers, but I mean, just we've seen the first episode, you guys went out there and won, and you guys had a chance to go through a full season. Is there anything that you would change, that you could change, really, and still have it be the bot known as Huge that you guys are planning on maybe doing for next season?
Yeah, so we've talked about this already. We were talking about this on the plane ride to California. We'd change just about everything.
Pretty much everything, yeah.
The motors were chosen based on what we had laying around in our basement. Mm-hmm. And what a friend found on eBay for super cheap. We wound up scrapping those motors anyways, but they influenced the design a lot.
We also bought 2 drive motors from the Ultimo Destructo team that had been sitting in their shed since I think like 2001 or 2-ish. Wow. And just, they were what we needed, and he posted them online at the right time, and I said, gimme. So what we would change is mostly a lot of like taking our time and saying, okay, do we really need drive motors that weigh 15 pounds, or could we get by with a lot less? And the answer is probably a lot less. And like refining it a lot. But it would be tall. It would still be tall.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with all the tweaks and modifications, I mean, if the bot ends up being like half as tall and maybe like weighs a good 15, 20 pounds less, can it still be huge, or do you have to come up with a whole new name because it's, not essentially a different bot, but it doesn't maybe have that same allure that it did in its inaugural run?
What do you think? Medium? We could call it medium.
Yeah. We could do a smaller wheel version called medium. I figure if you go as far as small, you've basically got about the size of Axe Backwards.
Yeah, that's kind of the scaled down. If you scale the wheels down and scale the weapon up, you end up with Axe Backwards.
Fair enough. Now, with this bot design, the 2 wheels, I described it as like an old-timey, Civil War cannon when I first saw it, and you guys have that blade in the middle. But you guys had a successful first outing, and then, of course, we're going to have the rest of the season to see what other fighters come up with against you. But this is your guys' first time, is it not, in Battlebots?
Yep. The first season of Battlebots, Peter and I both built robots on our own for the littler classes, and every robot we've ever competed with was built since the end of the last season on ABC.
Oh, wow.
So I think we've built 3 or 4 other robots since the second season ended, and then now we're on the 3rd season, and we won our first fight.
Yeah,
So.
which is awesome. I mean, I've talked to several people. They really like you guys as a team. They like your bot, so that's got to feel good. I worry though, if you guys change too much, you might change, the fan favorite thing, because I know that Duck. I mean, how much can he really change before he loses what Duck is? Right. I mean, let's go ahead and share right now. We'll start with Jonathan. Your favorite bot in this that isn't your own.
Oh, I had a lot of favorite robots just on wandering around the pits and looking at the things that were really well made. Because that's kind of the backstory of the Huge is we built it. We built this one in about 3 weeks, and it's really, like, the inside's really slapdash. So looking at some of the robots, Reality especially was just one of the prettiest, most well-made robots there. And I had to not stare at it because it looks it looked a little shady for me just standing there staring at it. But that was one of my favorite robots there.
Peter, how about you?
I gotta say, Duck was just amazing. It
was gorgeous.
I've seen the pictures of Hal Rucker's style of bot before. He's got them up on his website, and they're all the same basic idea. You take a giant hunk of metal and you cut away most of it, and what's left is this beautiful machine. And just seeing that in person blew me away.
I tell you what, for me...
The size of it, like, that amount of metal, and then it's just practically hollow.
Yeah, and then
it's insane. And then the beak, yeah.
I still have the, I stole the weapon cover for his beak, and I've got it sitting on my desk at home.
That's a nice souvenir, right?
Yeah.
For me, I really got on board with Sharko. Ed Robinson, I think, is hilarious, and he's quite the character, which is what you need in this type of competition. You need characters, you need villains like Ray, even though when you talk to Ray, he's like one of the nicest guys until it's like robot fighting time.
Yeah.
But Sharko, though, the beauty of it is when it's fighting, it's like poetry in motion, just the way that it maneuvers and the fact that it's beyond a gimmick. It's effective. But I know that there's Sharko, Petunia, you've got Kraken, you've got some gimmicky bots out there. And watching this last episode with Witch Doctor, I think they finally turned the corner from being gimmicky to actually being like competitive, but there's a few kinks that they got to work out, because you look at a bot like Witch Doctor and you want it to work well, you want it to succeed, but it's like Ray and Tombstone come out there and they kick ass, and it looks like the guy that you just sort of pulled off the street that said, hey, do you think you can get this giant piece of metal to run for 3 minutes? He's like, yeah, I could probably do that. Where you have full teams that put in so much, like Burger Royale with cheese and all these guys. You want them to work because they look awesome. But did you guys ever toy around with any kind of gimmick when it came to designing Huge?
The thing... On all the littler ones, I've always had the Sharpied on, like, really crappy, night before, hotel room, 2 a.m, Sharpied on angry eyes. And it's always been like, that's the gimmick, is it has the angry eyes. And it was one of our friends from the Valkyrie team, Fred, who was, it was late at night and we were designing something, and he says, I'm going to design some giant metal eyes for you. And I said, that's just as stupid. You don't need it. They're fine. I'll Sharpie it on. And he comes out with these eyes. The length of the eyebrow, I have one on my lap right now because I was measuring it. Length of the eyebrow is a foot long.
Wow.
Like, they're huge, which is fitting. And it felt so gimmicky until he put them on the robot. And then I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
Somebody was telling me about the eyes. There was a story, I forget who it was, that was telling me this, that somebody had joked around about, why don't you flip the eyes upside down? And somebody said, because then it would look feminine and innocent instead of angry and badass. Is there truth to that?
There was absolutely a angry Huge mode, and then kind of a sad Huge mode.
Yeah. There was, with the 30-pounder, it kind of folded in on itself once because we left a couple of bolts out when we were putting it together, and they turned out to be really important bolts. So it turned into a V shape, and we liked to joke that the eyes just got a little angrier that day.
So, your guys' thoughts then. Obviously, you watched and were fans of the ABC days, and then now it's with Discovery and the Science Channel. Getting to participate and now watch it all unfold, like your initial reaction to how everything has gone. I mean, yeah, 2 episodes is a smaller sample size, but I feel like, in my mind, watching all of the ABC season, even a majority of the Comedy Central days, and then now this, I feel like Discovery, BattleBots, really everybody that had a hand in this should feel very confident and proud of the product they see on TV.
I think this season is good enough from seeing all the fights in person that if this season isn't a success story, I'm not sure you could get much better fighting to put on television. Like, the layout's perfect, the fights are amazing, it has Huge on it, so obviously, it's a good season.
Perfect in every way.
I was just happy with it, but it was really, it's kind of surreal, because I still find myself being the kind of random fanboy on Reddit and Facebook of all of the press
And
stuff of the show coming out, and it's like, oh wait, no, that's us. We're on TV again.
I really need to get in touch with Reddit, because I know a lot of you guys are on there, and it would be a lot of fun to have some banter going on as the season progresses. But one thing, last question I got for you guys, it's one that I ask everyone from BattleBots on here, because I feel, if you're not going to be a favorite of another bot that's not your own, then at least you got to have your dream matchup. And I don't know if we get to see it or not, obviously, but for you guys, for your money, Peter, we'll start with you. Your dream matchup, whether it's just because of you want to see how Huge would do against this bot, or because you love everything about what they do, or hate everything about what they are, and you just want to take them on one-on-one.
This is probably a bit of a cop-out, but I really want to see a Huge versus another Huge. Because the bar is just a little bit shorter than the wheels. So I want to see them just kind of, with the bars at full speed, kind of bump up to each other and can't hit anything. They just mesh together.
But it could be so good, because then, you get around the side, you try and eat each other's wheel or something.
Oh, yeah.
It might not suck, but it might also just suck.
Jonathan, how about you? What's the dream matchup you want for Huge?
Oh, God, I'm trying to think. It's really mean, but I really was hoping that with the way the magic pixie dust boiled out to set up all the fights, we would fight the 4 horsemen.
Ooh.
The pile of mini-bots. Just because it's total, I don't think it would be the closest fight. Nothing against them. It's just, it's too tall. And I think it would be absolutely hilarious to watch it just kind of punt stuff. Or at that matter, anybody with a mini-bot. If we could fight a mini-bot and just punt the thing, I think it would just be the funniest thing ever.
Specifically, a mini-bot taller than 2 inches.
That's right. That's a very critical.
Too short.
Yeah, that's a very critical distinction. 2-inch tall mini-bots.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of a follow-up to the last question, which is, did you guys have any clearance issues? Because I know that there's several bots out there that have different blade lengths. I know Tombstone does, or different weapon attachments or shields for different fights. Did you guys have any issues where you had to put on maybe wheels slightly smaller, or wish you had wheels slightly smaller for a matchup, because there was just, you cleared the bot every time, there was no contact, so you're just chasing this thing around trying to figure out what to do?
I've had it in the smaller versions before. We had different lengths of bars for Huge at BattleBots. We had one that was, I think, 8 or 9 inches off the ground.
8.5.
8.5, thank you. And one that was 2 inches off the ground. And Dream is closer to what I've done with the smaller ones, which is every inch or so, I'll have a bar. And then you just kind of go over to your opponent and just kind of hold up a tape measure at what you want to hit. And then you can pick the bar you want and aim at that level. That's the Dream. But we didn't have any clearance problems with... excuse me. We haven't had much for clearance problems, just because, the wheels they can take so much damage, at least in the past, that it stays round enough. And the only one I've ever had problems with was Tiny Huge.
All right.
With it just hitting the floor all the time.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a problem. Well, I wanted to let you guys know that the Woolley twins from the last interview, from last week's segment, both spoke highly about you guys and Team Huge, and so much so that they said that I should get you guys on the show. So we'll start a little tradition here with the fan show. I will let you guys throw out one or two suggestions for who you'd like to hear on next week's segment, and we'll see if we can make it happen.
I think I'd have to recommend getting in touch with Frederick Moore from Team Valkyrie. He's just an all-around bonkers individual and is a joy to talk with.
Yeah, that team would give you an excellent interview. Absolutely.
Yeah, I did a video segment that will be put up on social media later on with Leanne from Valkyrie. She was a lot of fun to talk to. So definitely the more the merrier. There's not just one team member that gets to talk. I'll talk to the captains, the drivers, all of them.
Yep.
But Valkyrie, okay, I will take that under consideration.
Yeah, Leanne is the captain, I know, and Fred, he captained Road Rash, which was an alternate on Season 2, and then he was our secret extra team member in that we drove to Boston one weekend, went to the makerspace with him, and drafted in about everybody else he knew from his team and from just random people, and I said, we're going to build a Huge this weekend. And
then we did.
All right, fair enough, guys. Well, hey, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be on the show for the second segment of Season 3 of Battlebots, which is every Friday night at 8 Eastern on the Discovery Channel, and then it airs the following week with some bonus content on the Science Channel. So they are Team Huge, not just a big deal, a huge deal. Jonathan Schultz and Peter Lombardo, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. Keep an eye out for us. We're the big ones.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks.
You too. Thank you.
And once again, that was the guys from Huge. And that's our time this week, folks. We are going to be right at the marker. So we'll see you same fan show time, same fan show place tomorrow night. Don't forget to tune in, follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, WBLZ Sports. Download the app. They've got balls, and we will see you tomorrow night. Remember, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and it's all fun and games until you butt fumble.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the fan show.